Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we're going to be going over Jupiter in Scorpio. So this video is for you if you have this placement. If you're a cross watcher, welcome as well. Jupiter in our natal chart is the area where we expand through. So you might go through soul expansion in this area. It's also going to expand this area for you guys in terms of wealth, abundance, luck, prosperity. Jupiter is also the higher mind, higher learning. So you guys might teach, let's say, whatever you guys learn in this area. You guys might learn whatever is in your Jupiter, but you also might go off and teach it, or it can be the way that you guys teach things as well. Also, Jupiter in our natal charts is going to be the area where we might indulge in or overindulge in, and it could be the area where we might be able to push the boundaries a little bit. It's very much like a Saved by the Bell type of energy, Jupiter, sometimes I find, where it's like if you have a certain Jupiter placement, somebody else has something different in their Jupiter sign, you could, let's say, push the boundaries in that particular area. The other person might not necessarily be as lucky when it comes to that particular area. Scorpio, so much to say for this energy. It is all about sex, death, rebirth, joint finances, taxes, and the occult. It's also to do hidden things, hidden knowledge, power and control, energy work, energy healing overall, sexuality overall, and then in turn creativity overall as well. So when you guys have Jupiter and Scorpio, what does this mean? Putting it all together now. Having Jupiter and Scorpio, you guys are definitely going to be blessed in the area of all these things that I have mentioned. So you guys might be blessed in the area of occult knowledge. Maybe you guys just know things without even knowing how you guys know them. You guys are going to definitely be blessed in the area of, let's say, investigating, being very investigative, getting to the bottom of things. You guys might be interested in things like true crime, really wanting to figure out what actually happened in that situation, and it might not let you rest because it is fixed energy. Keep in mind, Scorpio is fixed water. So when you have fixed water, Scorpio especially can get so focused on whatever it is that they're doing or wanting to do or wanting to know. That's the main thing here. Scorpio always wants to get to the bottom of things. So when you have Jupiter and Scorpio, you guys are always going to be kind of finding yourselves in situations or circumstances where you're trying to get to the bottom of that thing. Sometimes to the point where it's like a little bit too much, right? Where you're too focused on that, you don't see anything outside of that. But with that being said, you guys are definitely going to be claircognizant. You guys are going to be psychically gifted overall, intuitively gifted, whatever term you guys want to use. But I do find that with Scorpio, because it does focus so much on something, it thinks about it, it researches it, it really wants to know, like, where is it coming from? What is it? How do I get to the bottom of this? Comes through as claircognizance, as just an idea maybe, or thought, or you guys just put the pieces together. Let's say you guys are maybe trying to uncover truth in the area of Jupiter. It's probably going to be with the higher mind, the wisdom, philosophies. When you guys have Jupiter and Scorpio, you guys are going to be very good at maybe learning a lot of this knowledge, maybe a lot of philosophies, really digging deep, and maybe even noticing things that other people have never noticed before, bringing that to the surface, connecting all of the dots from maybe all of the things, all of the research that you guys have gathered, and then maybe eventually presenting it, because Jupiter could also be the area where you guys teach as well. Because with Jupiter energy, it teaches you, and then you guys, if you choose to, you guys might want to teach other people as well, whether it's directly or indirectly, or just through you being as a person, maybe talking about the things that you guys are interested in. You guys are going to expand that particular area. Now, with that being said, you yourselves are expanding through this particular area as well. So you guys are expanding through the area of sex, death, rebirth, joint finances, taxes, and the occult. What do all of these things have in common? Well, first of all, they all have control energetically happening beneath the surface. There's always an element of control with Scorpionic energy, but also it's all about energy, okay? So you guys are always working with the undercurrents of energy. So when you have Jupiter in here, you guys might end up in situations that could be highly intense or highly transformative, or you guys might go through intense death, rebirth experiences when you have Jupiter in Scorpio, because it's expanding you guys. But now keep in mind, with this energy, sometimes it's the chicken or the egg. Sometimes you get used to the energy of constantly taking you through these like trials and tribulations and changes and transformations that sometimes unconsciously you guys might be bringing these events to you. So sometimes you just want to bring it to the surface, become aware that this is something that might be taking place, and energetically you can just be like, I don't claim that anymore. I don't want to be in those intense circumstances anymore, or as intense as they were in the past. I'm sure that you guys will still go through transformative experiences, but maybe not as intense or maybe not as dramatic. You can't not as a Scorpionic energy, but you guys might learn to embrace the energy more, or maybe be a little bit more better equipped for it as time goes on, so it's not as intense. And with that being said, you guys might be intense to other people as well. People might find you guys intense or intimidating, or like they might avoid eye contact with you guys, because it's like that Scorpionic energy, especially the Scorpio stare, pierces through the soul, because you guys are trying to always see, what is the person really saying? Is it matching? Are the mannerisms matching with what they're saying? Is the energy matching with what they're saying? You guys are always going to have that intense stare, especially when you have Jupiter and Scorpio. It's expanding this area for you guys, and other people maybe might avoid eye contact with you guys. And the thing is with this energy as well, I mean, everybody already knows for Scorpionic energy, nobody can lie to you you guys. Rarely are people going to be able to get away with things with you guys. And when they do kind of catch you by surprise, or maybe you guys feel betrayed or lied to and you guys didn't catch it, I find that the Scorpio energy takes this really, really hard because you guys are always able to pick up on things, but sometimes we don't see things. Sometimes it does pass us by. So those types of situations can really, really hit the Scorpio energy hard because it's your gift. Like, you guys are very gifted in this area of energy and intuition and picking up on things and matching the energy with the words and the vibrations. Now, with that being said, Jupiter is expanding this area. So although it can expand it in a positive sense where it's like you guys can actually make money through anything that is Scorpio-like, obviously depending on the rest of your natal chart, it could be through astrology, numerology, gematria, anything to do with like hidden knowledge, esoteric knowledge, mysticism. It could be all of these things, but it could also be things like sex therapist, for example, or talking about sexuality overall, or it could also be being maybe a financial advisor, or it could even be something like where you guys are helping people transform. Sometimes the Scorpio energy, depending on the combinations in the natal chart, it could be something like a fitness coach. Maybe you guys are helping people transform their overall image and maybe going through weight loss and like body transformations. Although Scorpio does usually seek for the depths, also, of course, the Scorpio energy is always going to find themselves in like psychology or therapy or something of this sort, maybe even sociology, where you guys are really studying human behavior and really getting to the bottom of things. Overall, the depth is always going to be there. And through all of these things, you guys could definitely bring through abundance for yourself. So you guys could feel abundant. You can attract more of the positive experiences. You could actually attract even wealth maybe into your life wherever you guys have Jupiter in your natal chart. But also what I will say, and I have been saying for these Jupiter videos, is that the area where you guys have Jupiter in your natal chart, it can also expand it in the shadow sense as well. I find that a lot of people don't talk about that with Jupiter. So it can expand it in the shadow sense as well, where it's like you can go into the shadow of Scorpio. Maybe you guys go into the shadow of like being possessive or like very paranoid or like really overthinking or like really thinking like people aren't aligning with what they're saying. Like, sometimes the Scorpio energy can go so much into like the depths and like the darkness of things. First of all, you guys are used to that energy compared to other people, but sometimes the Scorpio energy can put the wrong things on people, maybe thinking that someone is doing something or they're out to get them. Like when you guys are more so in the shadow, I call this the shadow of the crown. So usually this tends to happen when we're in lower emotional vibrations overall, or like from traumatic experiences. Obviously it can be avoided the higher up we go in our chakras and the more healing that we do and the more that we let go of these lower experiences. You guys can experience the beauty of Scorpio, which is the expansion of the spiritual gift in a positive sense. It's all about the vibration. So if you guys are going into fear, you guys will know that it is the lower vibrations, for example, maybe going into paranoia, or you want to transmute that and go into the love vibrations. When you guys are in the love vibrations, that's when you guys are fully expanding, and then Jupiter's expanding this area for you guys, bringing you through abundance. You guys might be very gifted psychics or intuitives. Some of you guys might read tarot cards. Whatever it is, Jupiter's expanding it for you guys, and you guys are basically being blessed in this area with abundance. Now, another thing that I want to talk about with Jupiter and Scorpio is that you guys might be blessed when it comes to other people's resources, or you guys might be lucky when it comes to, let's say, getting a loan if you guys want to start your own business, or maybe getting an inheritance, or maybe somehow getting somebody else's money. It could be through a partner or a spouse as well, or it could be like a settlement, maybe after a divorce, maybe you guys get more than you expected. But overall, you guys are always going to find yourselves in situations where you're working with other people's money versus your own. So let's say you guys have a project in mind, maybe it's a creative project, then you guys might find yourselves an investor, for example. Get somebody else to invest their money in your project versus you putting in your money. It can take place in this way as well. And with that being said, I also wanted to talk about the creative aspect of Scorpio. So I find that a lot of people don't really focus on the creativity aspect of Scorpio, but what I do want to mention is that spiritual energy, sexual energy, healing energy, and creative energy are all very, very connected, and they're all very much intermingled energetically. So when you have a lot of sexual energy, you're going to have a lot of healing energy. When you have a lot of psychic energy, you're going to be very healing as well. When you have a lot of sexual energy, you're going to be very creative. So they're all very much connected. The way that I see it is it's all in the sacral chakra. I do have a bunch of videos on more information on Scorpio energy. You guys can check that out in the Scorpio/8th house playlist, but this is the overall vibe. So because you guys do possess a lot of psychic energy and you're able to connect to the other side, you guys might be very good at being creative, or you guys might use creative things, depending on the chart is really what that is. You guys might use like a creative outlet to express. Maybe it could be like poetry, for example, or depending on the combinations, maybe it's going to be through acting, because a lot of the time I find Scorpio hides behind something. So they'll never tell you something directly, but they'll find a way to express that thing that they want to express, but indirectly. So whether that is through acting and like you're expressing it through the character's words, or whether that is through writing and maybe you're getting the characters to say it and you're actually writing maybe about your own experiences, or whether that's through poetry. Like, it's always kind of like this, where they're not directly saying it, but at the same time they're transmuting it. So that's what's happening with the Scorpionic energy overall. Okay, overall it's transmuting lower vibrational experiences, things that have maybe happened to them, or maybe that they've internalized as their own. Maybe they are from people around them within the generational line. Whatever it is, you guys are transmuting that energy and putting it out there in a positive sense. I would say that that is the most positive expression of Scorpio when it's in that Phoenix rising state. It has overcome maybe the shadows and the hurdles, and like I mentioned earlier, maybe the fears and the paranoias and these types of things come out on top into that almost that magician type of energies, that Phoenix rising, overcome all these things, and you're now transmuting. And through you transmuting and putting it out there in whatever way, shape, or form that might manifest, it could even be through speaking maybe about your experiences, but by you guys putting it out there into the world in whatever way, shape, or form that manifests, you guys are transmuting it for yourselves, and then you're helping other people transmute as well, and then in turn you guys are healing. That's the whole thing here. You guys have a lot of healing energy. With that being said, you guys do possess a lot of sexual energy as well, so a lot of people might be attracted to you. But what's important to keep in mind with Scorpio energy is like they get the label of being super sexual, but it's just that they exude sexual energy. If Scorpio is going into like the hypersexual aspect of things, it's usually because of a wound or something unhealed, or like a trauma that may have taken place. Otherwise, like the divine version, or like the ultimate, I would say, desire for a scorpionic person, Jupiter and Scorpio, is mind, body, spirit connection at the end of the day, because they are still seeking ultimately for those depths in life, in people, and all of their experiences. So surface level experiences probably aren't going to be something of an interest or even like attractive to this type of energy. Now, I also wanted to talk about in this video the pushing boundaries aspect of Jupiter. So this is what I was saying earlier. It's like Jupiter is kind of like a Saved by the Bell energy. You guys might be doing this unconsciously without realizing, and in certain situations that are Scorpio like, you guys may have gotten out like at the last possible second. Let's say you caught the last train and somebody else who didn't have this energy didn't catch it. That's sometimes how I see the Jupiter energy. Obviously, you don't want to push it to the limits, because eventually like it will maybe catch up to you, that maybe you will miss that train. I hope you guys are following, but this is the overall vibe. So anything that is Scorpio, like sex, death, rebirth, joint finances, taxes, and the occult, anything in this world, you guys can really maybe push the boundaries. Honestly, this is going to be a really random example. I don't even think it really applies today, but like back in the day, like let's say there were those like witches or like healers, or people who like were maybe like really speaking things that were like hidden, but maybe other people didn't want them to know. Like these people could have gotten away with it, because you know how back in the day with witches, they would like burn them at the stake and like these types of things. So maybe people who had Jupiter and Scorpio, for example, were able to speak and not get caught in these types of situations, or speak and kind of run away, or like happen to run away from like the people that didn't want them to speak. I hope you guys are following. It is a completely random example, but that's the overall idea. Okay, this is just how I see Jupiter. Sometimes you can push that particular boundary of where you guys have it in your natal chart versus somebody else maybe having a different Jupiter placement trying to do the same thing as you. Maybe they wouldn't be as lucky. So overall, Jupiter is expanding you guys in this particular area, the area of Scorpio, bringing through abundance through Scorpio-like things, wealth, maybe making money, having you guys expand as well. Maybe you learn something, maybe you want to teach it eventually. Maybe you guys want to teach anything that is in this category of Scorpio. And one more thing that I want to mention before I wrap up this video, you guys are going to be very good at pulling information out of people and drawing people in. And sometimes it's going to be with the eyes. Sometimes you guys just have a way of delivering information and maybe like expressing it with your eyes, or not even speaking. Sometimes you guys don't even have to talk. It could even be like the art of seduction as well. But all of these things could really draw people to you, or keep them interested in you, or maybe you guys not giving information or knowing what to say or knowing what's going to pique a person's interest. So these are a few things that can take place if you have Jupiter in Scorpio. So with all of that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I do hope you guys enjoyed my video on Jupiter in Scorpio. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.